Hey everybody, Steve at More Imports here in Monterey, California. Hey, we just like to check in and give a little bit of a one-on-one, kind of an oral account of what we know about each car that we list on Bring a Trailer, kind of like a questions and comments feature that we're doing on YouTube. It's really informal. This is for, Bring a Trailer bidders, so we're just speaking directly to you. And just kind of giving a little bit more of a background, we're talking about our 2003 Superformance Cobra. This car is on Bring a Trailer right now, ends on Friday. And again, we just wanted to kind of go through some of the notes that we have on the client file and just talk about some things real quick that are on our mind. We do have all the original paperwork from Superformance. I'll say here that, we've got the stamping from Dynamic Motorsports in Reno, Nevada, which is where the car was purchased from. It is a Mark III model, and the chassis number is 1677, was purchased on 9/15/2003. And this is a one-owner example. The owner lives in the Santa Cruz mountain area, has enjoyed the car the entire time there. It's got just over 6,000 miles, all of them, all those miles essentially being kind of mountain back road, fun, really good roads. I can tell you from personal perspective. But we have everything from new, the handbook on the car with all the options, and the big owner's manual as well. These are really comprehensive. I mean, if you flip through this book, you see that everything is essentially covered on this car. And this is what made Superformance, so coveted, I think, is that they really started to streamline what these quality builds could be and what they actually are. All the manuals for the extra stuff as well, the MSD ignition, all the Edelbrock stuff as well. We've got that in hand. So all this is posted in the listing already, but I can tell you that everything has been kept, and all the documentation is here. I also have the Dynamic Motorsports. This is their warranty. Again, more customer and client information from the purchase. This is all here. And then we've got the Coast High Performance motor packet. So this is how the car was fitted. It's a rolling chassis, as we know, from South Africa, and then assembled in the US with a power plant. This has got the 427 engine size, which we've got in there. I want to say it's the Street Fighter motor, which has been installed. I have this right here. So the Coast High Performance 427 carbureted with the Cobra air cleaner. The sale price on that motor was $8,000 from new. We've got the Canton oil pan with access, was another $375, and their harmonic dampener, $275, $2,500 for install, another $400 in shipping. So a total for this motor back in 2003 was $11,550. So we've got that in multiple forms here. And then, a little bit more information from Probe, their forged pistons. So shows the whole crate, motor information, rod bearings, spark plugs, all the stuff that they use with part numbers. So everything's here, and I'm sure it's somewhat accessible as well if you wanted to go and find replacement parts or, go through the car and service some items as well. We did just post a service document, an oil change, and a kind of an overall inspection, passed with flying colors. And that was just a local shop here. We also installed those safety wires on the tires. On the Halibrandt knockoffs. Those safety wires are now installed, as well as the trim rings on the headlights. It'd probably suit you to get new tires. Those are original, back from 03. But otherwise, the car is really clean. What I do want to say about this car, which I like, is that the Cobra badge, the 427 badge, all that stuff has never been installed. It's a striped delete car. So really, in a lot of ways, this is like a blank canvas for you to kind of make this car potentially your own, either adding the badges, adding stripes, doing some liberties cosmetically. I think it's a little bit of a rare thing to have this generation of a Cobra, one owner, low miles, not heavily modified, and again, without those cosmetic, the personality traits that he could have done from new. You have the opportunity to do them yourself or leave it as is. But I just think that kind of rarely you have this blank slate to kind of go any direction you want, which I think is appealing. Final thing is, good story. The seller said that he had a big kind of let's call it a family reunion in Reno at that time. And so he parlayed that opportunity to go to the dealer and check out this Cobra. And so he had 12 members of his family showed up with him to the dealer in Reno. And he said it took very little convincing. He had already kind of pre-purchased his car in his mind and, used this as a chance to go and show everybody and make it a little bit of an event. So since then, he's been a very good caretaker, serviced and maintenance the car essentially on his own, and handed us a really nice, complete product, documentation, folder, everything very well organized. So we like to thank our sellers as well. They really do a lot of hard work for us behind the scenes too. Adam Moore and I, we work really hard. Sometimes you get an abundance of documentation. Sometimes you get virtually nothing. And it's our job to tell the story, do the research, and find all those little bits. Sometimes they're very difficult to do. Other times you get everything handed to you, and we just confirm what we see, and we're conveying cosmetic what's going on, what we see, and mechanical. But as far as the history and what's been done and what's currently in the car, we have all that on this one. So again, thank you to our seller. He will be watching in the final moments on Friday when this car sells. So we just want to acknowledge him and thank him. Thank you guys for your contributions in the comment section. We've got some private messages as well. Thank you for your patience as we do our due diligence and make sure that we're really methodical in answering questions and getting you the right information and telling you just how it is. But we want to come off as approachable here. We're 700 listings now on BAT as of this morning, so we're proud of that. And we're approaching next year will be 45 years of this business being operational. So we're in it for the long haul. We love what we do, and we want to make sure that you understand that there is somebody on the other line here, on the other side of the keyboard, to answer questions. So that's my wrap here. Thank you so much for joining us. We're looking forward to an exciting finish. We saw some bids coming in today, so it tells us we're getting close to the end. So thank you so much. Please comment either here on YouTube, in the comment section is better on BAT, or send us a direct message if you have any more questions about what we talked about or something that we missed. But we do our best to put it all out there. So again, this is Steve at More Imports. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you at the end.